ex-Royal Marine Commando Martin Ashworth of the leather workshop in Anglesey is known the world over for his master craftsmanship. Martin is sought after by royalty and celebrities alike for his tremendous talents with this unique material. But like the old leather he works with, Martin's had to develop a thick skin, as his journey to become the artisan he is today wasn't an easy one. This is Martin's story.
I arrived in Anglesey when I was 5-year-old. My parents bought a garage in the centre of the island. I was the last of 4 children, and my parents were fed up of chasing kids. So really, I got let loose. I could walk 10 miles and everybody knew who you were. We used to do all sorts of things. It was just like a huge happy world game. You'd make dens, you were out fishing, and you'd do fishing with a split cane rod. And these are the things that I remember of my growing up, and it was just like glorified Famous Five. There used to be like a paperback magazine that used to come on a Saturday in the paper shops, and it was a little thing, 6pence it was, and it was called Commando. And this is the impression that you got. Oh, I could be one of these. I mean, they're doing everything. I joined up, went through the training, and it was the hardest and most disciplined thing I'd done in my life, because most of my life had been undisciplined. If I wanted to go, I went, and if I wanted to do this, I did, and that was my life until you join the Marines. They break you down and break you down and break you down until despair. And I was sat on the end of my bed, booing like a child, thinking, what have I done? I was having a whale of a time in Anglesey. And then they build you back in such a manner where you become self-reliant. You start to realize things about yourself that you never knew. You start to understand how capable you are. The final test is a 30-mile jump with a pack and pooches and rifle and everything. You've got 8 hours to do this 30-mile. And I remember that last half mile is the most difficult. You're feeling as though you're dying. And you're saying, I can't go on, I can't go on, I can't step anymore. And they're saying to you, if you've got energy to talk to me and tell me you can't, you still got energy to run. And it takes your brain off what you're feeling. 1 foot becomes 2 foot, 10 yards, 20 yards. You learn what your capabilities are. But that is the final test. You therefore have become a Royal Marine Commando. That green beret is what you work for, and it means so much. And I can feel myself now choking up. It means so much. To get that green beret is topped every achievement in my life.
Martin was sent all over the world during his time as a Royal Marine Commando. And whilst stationed in America, he met an old saddle maker. Martin wasn't to know it then, but this chance encounter would aid his salvation when he needed it most.
I was looking for something to do in America, and round the corner was a guy who handmade Western saddles. I said to her, well, look, I love watching you, but can you teach me? So, well, hell yeah, I'll teach you, yeah, but if you want to learn, I'll teach you. For the next 2 years, I went around there every weekend. He taught me about leather and what leather does, how it can be worked in an old-fashioned way. And yeah, it was a bit like duck to water at the end.
After 20 years of service, it was time for Martin to retire and return to the UK. By now, he had a wife and family to support, and he found employment on a country estate. However, he was about to take on a battle he hadn't signed up for. A fight that tested both his physical and mental strength.
My wife was housekeeper, and I was a chauffeur and general dog's body. The boss bought a horse and it had its leg caught in the paddock fencing, and we had to get it off, otherwise it would have damaged its own leg. So the only way to take the pressure off is to lift the horse up. I mean, you're talking 3/4 of a ton of horse. While I was lifting the horse, obviously I was in the wrong position. It got free, put 12 stitches in my head at the same time while it went. But unfortunately I put a few discs out, damaged my spine.
Even with financial support from his employer and extensive surgeries, Martin's injury was so severe that he was left unable to walk and could no longer continue his job. Wheelchair-bound, Martin faced an uncertain future, and so he returned to the place he drew comfort from, Anglesey.
We tried to return to my roots. I knew the people around here. I grew up on Anglesey. Churchill said, if you're going through hell, just keep going. The only way I knew is to keep moving. And you're going from window to window, and then it went from window to garden, and it went from window to the end of the road, and just walk. You walk with a stick, and you just walk and walk and walk.
Martin's walks led him to a chance meeting at the lifeboat station and a new life with the RNLI.
They're all volunteers, everybody's a volunteer, everybody's there, but they're all there for something. And I was there for something, and I sucked it dry because it gave me that lift in my own personality, my own self-respect. What it does, it saves sinking people. To think about it, I was sinking, and it held out a hand to me, and I grasped it with both my hands, and it pulled me out. It stopped me from drowning in my own self-pity.
Eventually, with the help of his new crew, miraculously Martin started to recover from his injuries. Grateful for a new chance at life, Martin repaid his friends at the RNLI by using the skills he'd picked up in America, crafting leather.
I knew I had lots of things to do that I can give back to the lifeboat. They had a guest book. I go down at home and make a leather-bound guest book for them to write in, which kick-started this other section, tangent of my life.
One small leather job led to another and then another, calling on long-forgotten skills he'd learned from an old American saddle maker he'd met half a lifetime ago. This twist of fate had changed Martin from soldier to craftsman.
This workshop has become a part of who I am. And this workshop is what everybody wants to see. It's just so old-fashioned. Now things come from everywhere. I've had Gladstone bags, suitcases, trunks, flying jackets. I've done famous cars, done Brian May's guitar case, and I've had the privilege to work in areas for people who I never dreamt. Your life is moving all the time around you, whether you want to or not. And what comes tomorrow, comes tomorrow. You deal with tomorrow when you get there. It's never, ever too late to change. If you're faced with a problem, overcome the problem. It always boils back down to that last half mile. The last half a mile is always the worst. It's that drive that you need to push the extra few steps to get to the end. And it's a thought process that I learned as a young recruit in the Royal Marines to do things that I never dreamt I would ever do.